I was just looking at the back of this little sheet I got, and there's some interesting stuff on there. I'll talk about that in a second. When Carla called me last week and asked me to come and do this, I asked her, you know, what's the dress? Because I don't know if I should want to put on a suit on Father's Day in the summertime. And she said it's casual, and if it's warm enough, you can even wear shorts. But I remember that Mayor Little told me one time that if he ever saw my bare legs in Saline again, he'd have me arrested. So, and he was wearing a kilt at the time. Yeah. Bob Reddy's is not here. I'm not the guy that kicked this off. It's Bob Reddy's who kicked this off. This whole project came about as a result of me being approached at City Hall by Bob Reddy's on behalf of his dad's foundation, the Edward F. Reddy's Foundation. And a little bit of history of the Reddy's family and R&B Machine Tool. Does anybody remember R&B Machine Tool? I mean, they used to be like the Saline industry. And then strange things happened in the market. Mayor Shelton acquired the Teft farm, which is basically the entirety of this industrial complex, starting at Textile Road going all the way back. And kicked off constructing the first industrial park in Saline to attract light industry and professional commercial businesses. Actually, the township line, I don't know how many folks realize it, but this land is not in the city of Saline, right? This land is in Pittsfield Township. So this was a huge cooperative effort, among other things, with our friends in Pittsfield Township, with whom, at least in my tenure in city government, we had a fabulous relationship with Pittsfield Township. Unlike my predecessor, who was frequently at nose-to-nose with the township, we had a great relationship with the township and its supervisor. But R&B Machine Tool was the first tenant in the Teft Park when it was just farmland. They purchased all the acreage for their new complex that they built down there. They provided the seed money to let that industrial park go and take off. Fund the road, construction of the road, subdivide it, and everything else associated with it. Then there was this wing in Pittsfield Township that we decided on at City Hall, because we'd had a tumultuous history with Pittsfield Township, we didn't want to do anything that would kick up some more hornets' nests with them. So we decided that this would be a passive wilderness park area with no permanent construction and no serious improvements and walking trails and things like that. Years went on. We got along well with the township. Bob Reddy's came to see me at City Hall and said, and these people were the best employers ever as far as I'm concerned. He said, we want to build, we've set aside $1 million within R&B from the foundation to build a recreation center for our employees and their families, for R&B employees and their families. With a swimming pool and a weight room and a this and a that. And Bob said to me, my wife said to me, Bob, why don't you give that money to the community and open up a public facility rather than just for your employees? And so he said, in his sort of Bob Reddy's straight up, no nonsense fashion, I've got $1 million for you, Hopper. Do you want it? If you want it, you're going to have to match it in order to fund the bonds to get this. And I said, well, yeah, I want it, but where are we going to get the other $1 million? Because back then, $1 million was a lot of money. How are we going to do this? We put our heads together and formed the community organization. Huge number of volunteers, including this young lady, got together and made telephone calls, solicited businesses, did mailings, and within 8 months or so, we had raised the other $1 million through contributions from the community. And I was tickled to death the day I made the phone call to Bob Reddy's. And I said, you know, we got the $1 million, Bob. We're ready to go. And his response was, what took you so long? Okay? Well, you know, we do things a little slower than you do in the business community. So anyway, we through a huge, huge community effort that I've just seen is very well documented by Carla and the staff inside. I recommend you take a few minutes to go through the earlier pages. Not only will you see two guys who had a lot more hair and darker hair in those photographs, but you'll see the magnitude of the effort at the time, which has kind of sort of been lost in the other changes that have gone on in Saline, mostly led by this marvelous mayor. It was really something at the time to raise that kind of money, and at the same time we're negotiating with Pittsfield Township about actually building this facility in the township, and we signed, it's a lease or something.
425 annexation.
Okay, so it's a 99-year, 50-year something or other. So in 50 years, this land goes back. This building may revert back to. I don't know what they're going to do because I probably won't be around. This was significant from another standpoint too. Saline had never, at that point, there had been at least three attempts by the school district to construct a school pool in connection with the high school or the middle school. And every time, the taxpayers in the school district turned them down, voted them down. They didn't think, apparently, a pool was an important part of the community. As I was saying to Pat a few minutes ago, when we formulated the plans for this, we said, and one of our selling points to the public was, we're not going to give you one pool, we're going to give you 3 pools. We're going to give you the lap pool, we're going to give you the young person's, the shallow pool, and the hot tub. And so you're going to get 3 pools. And that I think was a huge selling point. And of course, after that, the high school built its pool. And things changed, and obviously, pool is now part of the community and should have been for a long time before that, I think. What we have here is the result of a huge seed donation by R&B Machine Tool, one of the greatest tributes to that company in the community, in my opinion. Plus, what we have here is the efforts of the entire Saline community putting its shoulder to the wheel to fund the balance of that, plus the support of subsequent mayors and councils, and the great work of Carla and her staff. Carla joined the city 20 years ago. And I was shocked when I got the invitation in the mail to see that it had been that long ago. But I think we've set, frankly, a timely example to other governments and other political subdivisions, and that is, this is a community that decided to invest in itself and not run from the opportunity. It was a community that took up the opportunity, and I think, frankly, that's something that a lot of people in the U.S. could learn right now from. Investment in yourself is a great thing for governments to do. I want to thank everybody who has made this event possible, Mayor Little, Mayor Driscoll, Carla and her staff, who've done just a wonderful job over the years, and mostly the people of the community who support the facility by memberships and tax revenues and everything else it takes to keep something like this going. And this is just one of many elements that makes this community so livable. And I really appreciate being asked here today. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.